I've been building around the country and around Ananda for 40 years. And I got involved with the solar project with a couple of other contractors here. The Ananda Planning Division had wanted to put in this large 200 kilowatt power generating plant to feed. It actually feeds into the grid and does a net metering, which basically means it's a power plant that we're providing electricity to the power grid, and then all of that much electricity we get through the other parts of the grid as an accounting washout. So it provides power for over half the community, probably 45 to 60 different houses or businesses or units with meters. So ideally it would be more, it's a grid interconnect tie, so all the electricity goes into the grid. So when the grid's down, which happens in our area sometimes, we're not able to utilize all the power it's producing. But that technology could bring that as an added feature in the future. So it's basically going to pay for itself in something like 5 or 8 years. The value of the electricity provided will equal the cost that it costs to put in. So yeah, it's been really fun working with Roger and Cullen on this project. My part was more the foundation and metal structure. Originally a wood structure was looked at, but the spans, it's a really big structure. It's a 85-foot clear span and almost 150 feet long. It's fairly large, and it has a complete roof underneath the solar panels so that it's completely waterproof. On the roof, of course, the sides are open, so some water comes in around the edges, but it's not one of these places where it's a nice shade screen in the summer, but in the winter when you get out of your car you get dumped on because it goes between the panels. So I enjoyed the challenge of this project because of the existing structures in the location. It was a maintenance yard, tractor yard, with a maintenance barn and a tractor barn and some other features. There's a water creek going around the vicinity that has limitations, so it was really fun and challenging, and I really appreciated the help of the people from Rhino Building down in Dalton, Texas, that helped us every step of the way, getting the slope of the roof, the spans. We had to have some of the beams precisionally sliced down into the existing tractor barn. We had to have the other beams line up around the roll-up doors on the maintenance barn so that they didn't block the door and they weren't precisely parallel to each other. Other features of where the creek went around the back were limitations, how far it could come out into the road, and then we had technical things like the purlins needed to be at the span of the size of the solar panels so that the solar panels could all be bolted right to a structural member, not just to some tin roofing. So I'm really pleased and impressed. It was a lot of fun, and really appreciated all the help in the design to get it work out all these special extra things. We had it looks like a big flat site. It is, but it's actually almost a 4-foot drop from the high point to the lowest point. So that affected how the length of the posts were and the piers that we put in, and then being as how it's a big open structure, the footings we had engineered, and they were actually much larger than we expected. They're 5 feet deep and 10 feet long, 2 feet wide under every column that's all underground. There's, you know, a little column that comes up, footing under the post. But that was kind of an interesting challenge. And then just the time delays and getting the approvals for all of this, you know, and the solar, even, you know, working with PG&E, and then that means the PG&E solar department, which has, you know, grid interconnect is a whole extra layer of engineering that has to be figured out. So, but it's really been a lot of fun building it and just seeing it come up, and just as you can see in the video, it's like a giant sculpture to me that just fits right in its place, like it just grew up there. And that's really what I like to do in a building, to make it come out so it seems like it was always there, or it just grew up there out of the ground.
What's the just curious, what you mentioned it was 150 feet long and 40 something?
It's about 85 feet clear span.
Clear span. Wow. And what's the elevation like?
The highest peak is 25 feet, okay. And the low side is, I believe, 18 feet, okay. From the ground. And so we made the front corner is enclosed as a future shop area. So that's at the high point. So that slab being 6 inches out of the ground sort of set the height. So all the rest of the columns actually are at that same level, even though the ground does slope back.
And how many kilowatts is it going to output?
I don't know the exact number. It's very close to 200 kilowatts. It's 197 or 194. Roger or Colin could probably give the exact number down to the kilowatt, down to the watt.
Okay.
They're 1,000-watt inverters. So one of the things some of us were concerned about was when you wire those in, the solar panels are actually generating electricity whenever there's sun on them. So if you have solar panels out there and you're hooking them, you've got two wires that are hot right then, even though it's like inert. It's not connected to anything. It's just connected to the sun, which it amazes me how that works. But you know, that was one of the things we had to do, to be careful to make sure, you know, there was safety, so that no one accidentally grabbed the wrong two wires at the wrong time, and you know, because they're 1,000 volts per string. There's 559 panels, and they're in batches of about a dozen. And I don't know exactly the number, but about a dozen panels into one string, and then those several strings go down into one inverter. There's about 6 or 8 inverters. Each one is 1,000 watts.
This was built with financial support from the Jonica Foundation and Ananda Village.